All right, so get this. Back in 1982, something happened to the US penny. It was a tiny change, something almost nobody noticed. But that little tweak created what you could call a forgotten machine, a super simple device that some people claim could completely change the way we grow our food. I know it sounds a little crazy, right? Like something out of a sci-fi movie. But what if the secret to a better garden isn't in some high-tech laboratory, but is actually sitting right there in your pocket or in a change jar? That's the big question we're diving into today, and it's rooted in a science that was basically buried for decades. So at a glance, these two pennies look identical, but on the inside, they are worlds apart. A penny made before 1982 is almost all copper, but a penny made after 1982, it's pretty much a zinc slug with a super thin copper jacket. And get this, you can literally hear the difference. The old one has a nice, clear ring to it. The new one just kind of thuds. This isn't just a fun fact. It's the absolute key to this whole thing. That difference in the metals, the copper and the zinc, lets us do something pretty remarkable. By putting these two different coins into your garden, you can actually build a simple, forgotten machine, a natural battery, right there in the dirt. So let's break down how this actually works. It all comes down to a really basic scientific principle called a galvanic cell. See, whenever you take two different metals, like our copper and zinc, and you stick them in something conductive, like wet soil, electrons naturally start to flow from the zinc over to the copper, and that flow creates a small but very real electrical current. It's the exact same principle that makes a simple AA battery work. Now here's where it gets really wild. How do plants react to this little bit of electricity? Well, they have this amazing natural ability called electrotropism. It literally means their roots can sense an electric field in the soil and will actually grow towards it. It's like they have a built-in guidance system for energy. So, this little coin battery is giving your plants an incredible two-part boost. First, that electric current acts like a beacon, guiding the roots to find water and nutrients more efficiently than they could on their own. And second, as that zinc penny slowly breaks down in the soil, it releases zinc ions. And plants absolutely need zinc to create something called auxins. Those are the super important hormones that control pretty much all of their growth. And look, this isn't just some old folklore or a garden myth. As the source material puts it, this is a living, testable hypothesis. It's grounded in real physics and real plant biology. It's a powerful idea, and it leads to an even bigger question. If this is so simple, and it works so well, why isn't everybody doing it? Why isn't this common knowledge? Well, the answer takes us back about 100 years into a fascinating story of a huge discovery and then a mysterious disappearance. Just take a look at this timeline. In the 1920s, a French inventor named Justin Christofleau was seeing huge success with his electroculture devices. Then, in 1936, a big British research committee that was studying the exact same thing gets shut down, just like that. Their research stamped not for publication. And then, silence, for decades, until 2018, when modern scientists started proving these old claims were right all along. And just so we're clear, this guy, Christofleau, wasn't some small-time tinkerer. This number is just staggering. He sold over 150,000 of his devices all across Europe. This was a huge popular movement built on amazing results. So what on earth happened? Well, here's the crucial context. The fall of electroculture research happened at the exact same time that the industrial chemical fertilizer business was taking off. A free technique using scrap metal and pennies just doesn't really fit into a business model that's based on selling people bags of chemicals every season. The research wasn't just forgotten, you could say it was replaced by a new and much more profitable industry. But that knowledge wasn't lost forever. Now that you understand the science and the history, let's get into how you can actually test this idea for yourself with this simple penny trick. Honestly, it could not be more straightforward. First, get your two pennies, one pre-82, one post-82. Second, give them a light sanding just to expose the raw metal underneath. Third, stick them in the soil on opposite sides of your plant, maybe 4 inches apart. You want that current to travel right through the roots. And fourth, just water the plant like you normally would. That's it. You've just turned on the battery. Now, to make sure this really works for you, here are a few key tips. The soil has to stay damp. That moisture is what lets the electricity flow. Also, this is really important. Only use one set of coins for each plant. Too much zinc can actually be a bad thing. And if you really want to geek out, you can use a cheap multimeter to check the voltage every now and then. If it drops below about half a volt, it's probably time to swap in a new zinc penny. So the million-dollar question, does this really work? Let's look at the results, both from today and from history, because it all leads us to one final, really critical question. This chart perfectly shows what that 2018 study in China found. Just by using simple copper and zinc plates, the scientists saw their crop yields jump by 20 to 30%. The plants weren't just bigger, they were healthier and tougher too. It's modern science completely validating a century-old idea. And what's so fascinating is when you compare these modern results to the historical claims. Just look at the numbers Justin Christofleau was reporting in the 1920s. Doubled his oat harvest. Potatoes went from maybe 5 or 6 per plant to over 30. He even said he tripled his bean harvest. The scale of these claims is just astonishing, and it shows you the incredible potential that was just left on the table for so many years. And that brings us to the final, really thought-provoking point. This simple, effective technique that's based on elementary school science was once a thriving movement, and then it was just replaced and forgotten. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other simple solutions might be hiding out there in plain sight? And maybe more importantly, who decides which knowledge gets passed on?